motion and a second to come out of closed session.
Madam Chair, I'm going to start off with the certification of closed session pursuant to subsection 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended. Each member of the Board of Supervisors upon roll call certifies that to the best of their knowledge only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and only such public business matters that were identified in the motions by which the closed meeting was convened, were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the Board of Supervisors. Any member of the Board of Supervisors who believes that there was a departure from the requirements shall stay so prior to the vote, indicating the substance of that departure in his or her judgment has taken place. Are there any supervisors who believe a departure has taken place? Being none, if you agree that the matters heard, discussed, or considered during the closed meeting were pursuant only to the motions by which the closed meeting was convened, please signify by saying yea or yes. Tim Lovelace.
Yes.
Carl Ray.
Yes.
David E.
Yes.
Steve Breed.
Yes.
Rebecca Dye.
Yes.
Forrest Christian.
Yes.
Luann Wallace.
Yes.
Ma'am, you have approval to return to regular session.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I'm going to ask that we have the invocation. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, Lord, we love you, we thank you, and we praise you today, Father. Father, forgive us for where we fail you each and every day. Help us be more like you, Father. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of our local government. Lead, guide, and direct us in everything that we do. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to ask for the approval of the agenda. However, do we have some additions and subtractions? You got any additions that we need to do for this, Mr. Lester?
Madam Chair, I had the additions that I had notified the board from under the county administrator requests and reports, number 11 and number 12, which is included on the agenda. And I also think that y'all want to table the appointments, the board appointments, till the next session.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So has everybody got that? All right. So I'm going to ask for an approval of the amended agenda, please.
So moved, Madam Chair.
I have a motion. I need a second.
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Eaton. Any more discussions? I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much. So at this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing for the Russell County Fiscal Year 2023-24 countywide budget. Anybody signed up to speak on the budget? And if you did not sign up, you're welcome to speak. So the floor is open. The two that I have on this sheet are not for public comments for the budget. So anybody want to speak on the budget? Going once? Going twice? I'm going to close the public session for the budgets. All right, we're good. Next on our agenda is presentations, and I have Dr. Kim Hooker, that's the Russell County School Superintendent, to speak about her annual school board report. Thank you very much, Dr. Hooker.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. I really appreciate you all having myself. And I'd like to introduce our Director of Finance, Ms. Brooke Webb, with me tonight. So thank you for having us. I'd like to start off, just make top.
Roll down.
Okay, like that. Okay. Yeah. I'd like to start off by recapping 2023 of this year. Some of the things when I came into the position that the board and I sat and discussed about is, and we put a lot of thought into this and had to look to see If you look to the right, you can see kind of a declining enrollment that we have from FY21 to FY23. So taking all that into consideration, we did not replace 2 central office supervisors due to retirement. We did not replace 1 secretary at the central office due to retirement. And due to the enrollment, we did not replace 12 teachers due to retirement and resignations. And then also a big thing, and it was great, is that we did get our 5% salary increase for all employees. If you're around the schools, we're doing a lot of projects around the schools, and the reason we're able to do this is because of this school construction grants program. And it has allotted Russell County $1,986,418 to be put towards school construction and renovation projects. Now, the only caveat to that is that it can't be used towards athletic related or paving projects. So a lot of things that we've done this year, and it can be carried over to FY24, which we're glad because we have a lot of plans of other projects to do. But some of the things that have been done and we're doing at this time is that we did repair the broken parapet at Castlewood High School, and we plan to redo the other 3 so they don't do what the first one did. We have plans to remodel some bathrooms across the county, and at this time we are remodeling Castlewood High School. That's happening as we speak. We are going to be repairing the front wall at LES. Unfortunately, that front wall is doing exactly what the back wall did. It's not as bad. So I think we've caught it early enough where it will save us a lot of time and money. We're going to go around and do the sidewalks at schools where needed. We're also going to be replacing windows because of broke seals at Castlewood High School and Honeacre High School. We've done a lot of upgrades to our HVAC across the county, and which was needed. And the next 3 items, you know, school safety is important to all of us. It's to us, to you all. And some of the things that we've thought about, and we've actually started, is we're tinting the windows on the main level of each school. They have suggested that way you can't see in, but you can see out. So we've started that. We're looking at possible metal detectors, which the state said that we could use this money for. And then we have replaced all the classroom door locks at Castlewood Elementary, Honeacre Elementary, and Honeacre High School. And those are the older doors that came, and so when the teacher walks in, the door's going to automatically lock. So we have replaced those. Also, if you've been around our schools, there's a lot of playground equipment that needs to be updated. I did call the Virginia Department of Ed, and they have allowed us, for me, to use some of this money to help the upgrades of that playground equipment. We have PE out there, so that's considered a classroom, so that's upgrading that classroom, basically. Some other projects we have going on, of course, you all know about the ESSER 3 money, and it's coming to an end. But we did have 2 projects that were approved last year that we're getting started this year with. Of course, we're finishing the field house at Lebanon Middle School. And coming up, there'll be a construction of new bathrooms at Honeacre High School football field. And then we're putting in an HVAC system in the new gym at Honeacre Elementary School. And then on our maintenance, coming out of our maintenance funds, we are remodeling or updating the tennis courts at Castlewood. And then we do have plans for paving projects at Honeacre Elementary School parking lot, and then pavement resurface of basketball courts at Belfast and Honeacre Elementary. So, looking at the budget, it's been a long spring. I know Brooke and I, when we started looking at this in February, you had the governor's budget, and then we had a House budget, we had a Senate budget, and finally we have what's called as the skinny budget. And that's what the Virginia Department of Ed told us to build our budget on, was the skinny budget. In that skinny budget, though, for salary scales, the proposed increase was 5% in the skinny budget. But with that being said, hopefully by the end of this month, if they come to an agreement and we do get a state budget, hopefully it will be around 7%, and we're hoping that we can amend this and change that to 7%. The cost of the increase of the salary is on the base, and 5% increase would cost $1,471,000, basically, and the amount covered by the state or not covered by the state would be $750,000, and that's what we would absorb. If it's a 7% increase, it's an additional $616,000, which would be a total of $2,087,726. And the amount not covered that we would have to absorb would be $1,050,000. And this increased amount includes salaries, FICA, Medicare, and VRS benefits. And of course, again, this is based on the skinny budget. Okay, some of the things that we're going to add this year, and it's a great thing, but it's not that we had a choice to do it, but it's through the Virginia Literacy Act, and we're going to be adding 3 reading specialists that we're excited about. It basically said that each school board is to employ 1 reading specialist for each 550 students in kindergarten through grade 3. And we're fortunate enough to have 3, and we're going to have 1 in the Castlewood area, 1 in the Lebanon area, and 1 in the Homeacre area. This is another item that we're super excited about, and I'd really like to thank the Russell County Sheriff's Department for helping us do this. They've written grants over the years to help us get the school resource officers. We have 3 SRO grants, and then I know the Sheriff's Department this past spring wrote another grant for 3 more school resource officers, and we think that we have received that. That will be a total of 13 school resource officers, and that places a resource officer in each school, which is awesome. With that, though, comes the 6 vehicles that the school board has to pay for, and then we also pay for the training. But we're really excited and thankful for that. Other additions that we want to include this year is the fleet implementation program, which is allowing us to replace more high mileage vehicles and lease the school resource officer vehicles. And this has saved us a lot of money over time, or it will save some money over time. And then also we have bus purchases and payments. We're having to replace 2 yellow buses and 3 activity buses. The 3 activity buses that we're replacing are over 20 years old. So. Okay, on the skinny budget, and you all can see the amounts there. I won't tell on each one of them, but the estimated revenue that we'll have, if you guys level fund us, we'll have the $9,573,871. And then, of course, you have your state amount. Your federal food program and textbooks, those are basically a set amount that you get each year, and you can see that there. And then Project Bridge, that amount has to do with our alternative program, and we share that with Caswell County. And so the total revenue that we're expected is $54,563,236. Estimated expenses, and if you look over to the right, those are the budget additions that I just discussed. Our general fund expenses will be $50,852,695. And then, like I said, the food program, the textbooks are set. And then you have Project Bridge, that's a different amount. And then the total revenue is actually balanced out at $54,563,236. Another thing that I would like to add, and I know you guys know about it, but we expect to decrease monthly health insurance premiums for our employees by $635 per year on each plan. And that's on a 10-month pay for our teachers. And of course, we were able to implement this due to several good years for claims and having the reserve funds necessary to offset the cost. And I'd like to thank Mr. Lester and his crew and our school board for, making this happen, and I think it'll be great for our employees. That's my last slide, but one more thing I'd like to say. I'd like to thank you guys for everything that you do. And I know I haven't been here yet, but I wanted to, one thing I'd like to ask you is that we've got to help our teachers with their teacher salaries. And I know you guys agree, and I know it's a problem that didn't happen overnight, and we're certainly not going to fix it overnight. But I want you guys to know that I would love to sit down with you, hear your suggestions, and hear your suggestions.
You may retract.
Well, no, my door's always open, and that's what I want to tell you, is that I would love to hear y'all's suggestions, and I think our board and you guys, we all need to work together for the betterment of our teachers.
One thing I just want to say thank you for what, I hear a lot of great compliments from a lot of things that people are visually seeing that's taking place. I tell Tim all the time,
Yeah.
I just thank y'all, call him and say, thanks Tim, I appreciate it.
Yes.
I see him on site, doing those things. And I know back when I first got elected, one of my major goals, and what I heard out in public was, we need to be more competitive. I mean, we'll get a raise, but it's hard, once we get a raise, everybody else around us gets that raise, and it will never catch up. And we're gonna have to sit down together
Think outside the box.
and figure out a way that we can make Russell County a very competitive county, because it increases our tax base. You know, I look at our school system as one of the largest employers we have in the county. And we got great teachers, we got great administrative people, we've got great staff, and I think we all have the same vision. We want to see us fix this.
Yes.
And, you know, I made some recommendations back a long time ago to see if we couldn't hire somebody outside to come in and just look at it to see how we could get there. I'm not saying we can fix it overnight, but I think that ought to be a goal that we ought to set that makes us competitive, where somebody want to build a home, they want to move here, they want to work here.
Absolutely.
You know, because you're talking, what, 600 some employees? And to me, it's just like an industry. An industry brings good opportunities, good benefits, and people move here to work here, or they drive a long way. So I look at it like that with our school system. I mean, I'm willing to sit down any time and have those conversations and to see how do we get there, you know.
I'm happy to do that. My door's always open.
I appreciate it.
So, that's it. If you all have any questions for me,
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hooker.
thank you.
Thank you, man. Keep up a good job. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim. We'll be able to see you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we've got new business, so I need the approval of the minutes to consider, which is the, I looked and we've all been here for those 2 minutes on May 1 and May 22nd, so Ms. Patton, can we do these all at once? Yes. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 1st and May 22nd, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Breeding. I have a motion from Mr. Breeding and a second from Mr. Ray. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I'll move along. All in favor?
Uh-huh.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we've eliminated our committee appointments.
Do
And so-
expenditures.
Oh, yeah, expenditures, I'm sorry. I need approval to pay the bills.
Motion to
Sorry.
approve the expenditures.
I'll see.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Please excuse me. Any discussion on the expenditures? All right, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next, number 3, we have decided to amend our agenda to exclude the committee appointments for this month. Coming up to citizen comment period, I'll give you 3 minutes, and the first one on the list is Ms. Linda Couch.
I appreciate y'all having me. I'm the mayor, Town of Cleveland, I guess y'all know. We're not talking about that. About y'all some papers. Show you what we're doing, it's gonna be, we're Independence Day. Gotta see if you can support us again this year. We get out, we do our own things, we're all going to get together and make some little money on the side. I hope that maybe y'all can help us again this year, y'all can show support for us. Give us a donation, basically what I would.
I sent Lonzo a text, and I think it's already in the budget that we've already pre-approved. That's right, Lonzo? Yes, sir.
Well, go ahead, Ms. Couch, so
I
you
just wanna let
can
you know.
surprise us, okay? Go ahead and ask us.
Okay, I wanted to ask for your all support again for our Cleveland Independence Day celebration. It will be July the 3rd on Monday this year, and I hope that you all can come and be with us. We've got some inflatables and music and a variety of stuff for the kids is our big main goal, is things we want for the kids. And thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, Ms. Couch. By the way, I'm going to take Chairman's prerogative here, Mr. Ray. I do.
I'd like to make a motion to give them 500 for all, I guess, 3 towns on those.
Second.
Doesn't matter what Mr. Lester thinks. We've motioned a second. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. Too bad, too bad. Any discussion on that, what Mr. Lester thinks or not, right? All right, we're all in favor, right?
Yes.
Okay, any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, here we go. We got it. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Couch, for keeping us straight.
Thank you.
All right, the next one on our list is Jerry Connor. I read it right. Okay.
I've got 3 issues I'd like to talk about, what I'm concerned about. One of them is PSA board. There's some issues there that I'd like to ask the board to look into. I ain't got 3 minutes, so I'm gonna be quick. The other one is about all the break-ins in the county. They're from Swords Creek to Dogtown. They broke Stowe County property now. And then there's a place down there that Dogtown dump needs to be fixed before somebody's leg gets broke up by the big dumpster. And then the third one is, in my opinion, the county community service program has politically motivated that office. I've got the proof, because when you put something on Facebook, all you gotta do is snapshot it. And I've got that. I'd like that to look in, because some people take it personally. There's one on the board that stuck out personal stuff on me. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Connor. Next, we have our constitutional officer reports and requests.
Real quick, Luann, we were late because we had a dog.
Oh, I'm so
issue.
sorry.
That's okay.
I should have said
We
anybody
had
else.
we had a dog that got loose. I have a quick question for you, because we didn't get here in time for the budget questions. So, we had asked about money for Mark Merrow from the county. And we were wondering if you all have decided to do anything to help us with that within the budget. I know he said it was in the packet.
Public comment is no question. So would you check with our county administrator and see how that works out, so you could do that at another
Okay.
time?
So my public comment will be, I
Thank you.
guess. I just want to make a comment then. I will be highly disappointed if the county does not do anything to help us with this. I pray that none of you ever get the phone calls that not only we have had personally about your children, your grandchildren, or people that you know because of bullying and drugs within this county, not just within this county, but of course. So I just pray that y'all took this really into consideration, because if you didn't, I'd be highly disappointed in everybody in this board. Publicly, I will make it extremely public, because you will let the children in this county down.
Thank you, Ms. Burke. Anybody else? Public comment? All right, I'll close the public comment at this time. And I apologize again, Ms. Burke, that I did not recognize you before. Constitutional officers, reports and requests. None, right? All right, moving on to the county attorney reports and requests, please. Ms. Patton.
I don't have anything for you all today.
All right. County administrator reports and requests. Mr. Lester.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First On the county administrator reports, of course, both Katie and I are going to tag team this one for y'all because I know there'll be a few questions. This came down through, we have a letter from Sheriff Steve Dye. He is retiring effective June the 30th, 2023. And I also know that Katie has to give y'all the Code of Virginia, how it applies to it under section 24.2-228.1, election to fill vacancies in constitutional offices. So I know it's under reports, but what is the will of the Board of Supervisors concerning this issue? So if, and Katie can start elaborating on it and we can ask her any questions on paragraph B and C is what is up to the Board of Supervisors if they elect to do so. So,
Madam Chair, if you want me to, I can just walk through each section A, B, and C. It's up to you
Yes,
if you
I
want me
would
to do that.
very much like that.
Okay. So there is a special code section just to fill vacancies in constitutional offices. There's a code section to fill other vacancies, but there's a particular one for this one. And the board does have a duty to take some form of action, or the court can act on its own. And under subsection A, the applicable language is that 15 days within 15 days of the occurrence of the vacancy, the governing body of the county or city in which the vacancy occurs shall petition the circuit court to issue a writ of election to fill the vacancy set forth. And it says either upon receipt of the petition or on its own motion, the court shall promptly issue the writ ordering the election date determined pursuant to Virginia Code. And it says the governing body may request in its petition that the special election be held on the date of the next general election in November, and the court may order the special election to be held on that date. That is, just if you weren't, you kind of read that in general terms if you weren't in an election year, because when you go down to B, it will give you another provision there. But I guess the important thing though with it does order us to act, and we should always do that, but really if we failed to do that, the court would do it on its own. Judge Moore would issue a writ. But if we are in an election year, like we are, it says if subsection B states if a vacancy in any elected constitutional office occurs within the 12 months immediately preceding the end of the term of that office, the governing body may petition the circuit court to request that no special election be ordered. And it says upon receipt of such petition, the court shall grant the request. So, and there's other provisions about who would fill in for that term, but for the purposes of today, that's the relevant part and that is something that we are within 12 months of that. So that's an option to this board to request the court to do that. And if we do request the court to do that, he shall grant it. Subsection C states, and so the issue that we're in is the letter that I've just reviewed from Sheriff Dye will not take effect today. It will take effect June the 30th. So technically it's not occurred. So technically under subsection A, you wouldn't be requesting that because it has not occurred yet. And my understanding is it can be rescinded up until that time, unless you proceed under subsection C, and which states upon receipt of a written notification by an officer or officer-elect of his resignation as of a stated date, the governing body may immediately petition the circuit court to issue the writ of election, and the court may immediately issue the writ to call the election. The officer or officers-elect's resignation shall not be revocable after the date stated by him for his resignation or after the 30th day before the date set for the special election. So I just wanted the board to know that all of the provisions of that code. So that's the way the process works. B is especially applicable in here since we're in that, but it does say may, it does not say shall, so that's it's up to the board how to proceed, to wait till the vacancy occurs and then request that, or if you wanted to go ahead and petition the court. So that's up to the board how they want to proceed.
Do we have anybody that's willing to act on that today?
I mean, I just got it today. I'd like to have a little time to study through this and, you know, get a little bit better understanding of these actions as far as what I should do as far as a vote.
Mr. Lester, you want to give us a little more explanation?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Like, again, this is the month of June, the great budget time. No thanks to the governor, we're going out without him this year. You will have to reconvene within the next 10 days to be able to approve the budget. You know, you will have to reconvene, which is on the agenda at a later in the agenda. So you won't have to reconvene. So that'll give you, you know, a couple of weeks, or 10 days to consideration. So that's at the wishes of the board.
Okay, so not to lead you guys down the wrong path, but we can add this to our agenda that we're going to meet in 2 weeks.
I appreciate it.
All right.
No, and I'm sorry, I didn't state that. No action is required tonight because the
Okay.
vacancy is not
There is
occurred.
no, yes.
All right.
I wanted you to be aware of all the options.
That's good. So is the board content with what we just discussed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We don't need any action, so we're moving on, correct? Mr. Lester?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next on the county administrator reports and requests, of course, is the DEQ report, which we've been discussing before. This is the DEQ report on the surface impoundment ponds over at the AEP plant. This is in there for y'all's review. This is the impoundment ponds on pond number 1 and number 2 under permit 620 and 624. DEQ is showing those two in compliance. If you remember a couple of years ago, we had some issues with the ponds, you know, breaching, and we had, you know, work with AEP to, you know, to correct that environmental issue, and it's all been fixed. So that's in there for your review. Next on the county administrator reports is, of course, I don't know why they ever named it this, but they did. Which is the Bristol Transportation District Regional Improvement Board. Well, that's a mouthful. But it is an acronym, Casino Board. So the Casino Board is doing well. I put in our audits that I set on that board. So as y'all can see, we're coming in, apparently the casino is doing very well. We're collecting our share of this. So we're looking at, you know, an increase, not just this year, but in the next year. And that was, I think, Mr. Breeding and the board wanted at the last board meeting on the budget out of the casino money. So we moved some of the money around, and as far as the Spearhead Trail, $35,000. The Lower Bed Lake, we have worked with Faceta. We've got a $25,000 grant to proceed on that. That's been submitted by the IDA. So we're moving on those two. So everything on the line item is still clear. So next is the VDOT monthly road system report. As you can see, these are just a summary of what their monthly road system report, of what VDOT is currently working for, and then finally, under the reports, is the VACO legislative summary. That's that big long one I put in y'all's packet for attachments. I think it's like 86 pages. So it's everything that's under consideration by the current General Assembly. Next is, again, at the last board meeting, or a couple of board meetings ago, because we're having quite a few. On this one is a VDOT County Administrator request. This is a VDOT resolution to dismiss the petition for the abandonment of Route 871. This is just to finalize this and move it and get it off the books. So this goes back to the VDOT for, you know, to maintain, and I need a motion for the approval of the resolution to dismiss the petition.
I'll make that motion.
You got to put your road, cemetery.
Yes.
We have a motion to accept the petition.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
make that motion.
I had a motion from Mr. Christian. Will you second it, Mr. Ray?
Second.
All right. Now we're in discussion. Mr. Ray, did you have some discussion?
No, at this time.
Okay. Any further discussion on this? I think we just about wore it out. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Lester. Motion carries.
Well, now let's wade back into the water again.
Okay.
Again, a request from VDOT for abandonment of 2 footbridges on Route 640 pedestrian footbridge over the Clinch River and one over 723 pedestrian bridge over the Clinch River. As you can see in the notes that VDOT provided is their reasoning for justification for the abandonment of the footbridges. So that is before the board for consideration. Of course, you have footbridge number 9,000. This is the footbridge over the Clinch River located on 640 Clifton Farms Road, approximately 1.5 miles east of Route 80. The bridge spans the river between Route 640 and 641 Clifton Ridge. Footbridge number 9001, pedestrian footbridge over the Clinch River, is located on 661 Altrip Road, approximately 1.1 miles east of Route 663. The bridge spans over the river between Route 661 and tax parcel of Barry and Willard Jesse. Footbridge number 3, number 9002, pedestrian bridge over the Clinch River located on 723 Arnold Road, approximately 1/10 of a mile east of Route 653. The bridge spans over the river between 723 and the tax parcel of Clercy Amelia Hess. Of the 3 footbridges, only footbridge 9001, which is the middle one, is currently functional and operating to public use. Footbridge 9001 constitutes the only legal access to the public road for one property owner and cannot be abandoned. It is to remain in the secondary system and will be maintained by VDOT, so that leaves you 2. Footbridge 9000 or 9002 were closed to public use due to the safety concerns and general lack of use by the public. Neither 9000 or 9002 are required to provide legal access for any properties and do not provide a transportation need. All properties served by footbridge 9000 have vehicular access via either Route 640 Clifton Farms or Route 641 Cedar Cliff Road. All properties served by footbridge 9002 have vehicular access via either Route 723 Arnold Road or Route 953 Creekwood Road. The Virginia Department of Transportation requests that Russell County Board of Supervisors abandon footbridge 9000, footbridge 9002 from the secondary state system of highways pursuant to subsection 33.2-909 of the Code of Virginia. I got a question. So you got 2. I got a question, and there are 2. I'm against this because we went to battle to make the Clinch River a state park. And these are essential historic landmarks. And I know what happened was, because I was in conversation with VDOT, even in Richmond, they wanted to get rid of them. They don't want to take care of them. But I think they have such a tourist value to them that we ought to be looking maybe to some other agencies or some legislators to see if there's a way that we can, what they did, they just boxed them off where people couldn't go across them. They just blocked them, right? So they didn't have to do maintenance on them. They said they were being vandalized and they couldn't keep them up and this and that, but to me, they're huge landmarks in our area that draws a lot of people. They just, we need to look at another option, I think, or talk to a different, and if we get down to where we can't get anybody to help us to do that or to keep them maintained, I can understand, but I just don't think we're looking into every option to be able to keep these footbridges as a historic part of the Clinch River. Okay. That's my own opinion on it, but I think people drive by and they look at those and they love them. They might not go across them, but they love to look at some of the old historic. A lot of times that's the only way people can get to their home. And And that's why they left the footbridge 9001 in place, because that did have access to expand, you know, for.
That's why they carry their groceries across
Yes,
to
that
that.
is correct. So, I mean, again, it's like the Route 871 issue. VDOT is requesting, hey, Russell County, either you abandon it or you discontinue it, which is really the same. They quit doing any other work on it. So that's a good way. I love their terminology. Two ways to get out of it. So one, they abandon it, or two, they just discontinue it. So either way, they quit the maintenance on it. So,
Well, I tell you, Cleveland just built a nice footbridge. Unbelievable.
you know, DHCD did.
What
So,
the ACD did, but I mean, I'd like to see if there's any options that we could look into to be able to restore some restoration or get some people involved. I mean, to keep
okay.
them.
Since this is the first, they just presented this to us, as you all know, it's in your packet. So I can, yes, let me go back, direct the county administrator, go back to see if there's any venues under, you know, rural rustic or revenue sharing programs, or if they have another agencies that has worked on them. When I was in Washington County, we did some footbridges there. And actually, if you could tie it into the clinch, and I can't make these promises, DCR, you know, some of the other ones can step in it too, but that's a big leap. But it always helps to ask. So let's see what VDOT's real feeling is on this.
When they abandon them, they're not gonna tear them down.
No,
They're just
they
gonna
ain't
walk off
they
and
ain't
leave
gonna
them.
deteriorate.
And
They
it
just
goes
put
back to
signage
the
on it,
property
seal it
owners.
off. That's correct.
Whoever's property.
That is
owns it,
correct.
Same thing.
Yes.
Well, I think if we get a grant or get some organization to take over lead, I'm like David, I think it's a good historical thing. And a lot of people are away from here, have never seen a footbridge.
Never seen
No.
And
And it's like I said about the mountain, the valleys here, God created them for Appalachia area. And it's a blessing, and we want to try to do everything we can to promote it.
There is some things out there that could do it. Let's see what is, like I said, this is the first approach they have submitted to us. So let's see what they say, you know, for any continuation. So
Well, I'll tell
be
you this, that was my only transportation run from my dad when he caught me down the hole swimming in the creek. I'd run up and run across the bridge.
So you have
Just to the other side.
So what you're telling me
Has
is you
historic?
Yeah, you have a historical meaning to you.
Historic meaning.
Also, one of these bridges may just be the only way that this person can get over when they bring their house.
Right.
And they're leaving it.
And one of the things that, you know, they also got to consider, like we did in Washington County, is if there's development across the bridge, that can happen. Does that make sense? So if you have a property owners that's in that area, which that's a hot area right now, especially with DCR, with the forest, to see if there is a future for it. So I'll be glad to do that. Thank you. You're welcome, sir. Next is, this is again, we just mentioned before, this is setting the final budget meeting date for the Board of Supervisors. So that is the discretion of the Board of Supervisors, a date.
Okay, I had not looked at those dates. Has anybody got their calendar out? We need to see what we can all do to get together in the next 2 weeks.
You wait 2 weeks on
I have to advertise it, you know, yes, Tim, you know, in the paper. That's our hang up.
it. But it has to be done before the end of the month.
Yes, sir. Before June 30th. So if we hit it 1, 2,
26 looks good.
yeah, 26, 27, 28.
26.
26 was good, Madam Chair.
Oh, good, because that looks real good.
26.
For the other week, I'm in Richmond.
Okay, all right. 26, everybody, at 6 p.m.
Yes, sir. Everybody speak now, forever hold their peace. All right, good. 26th of June, here, 6 o'clock, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next is another date we have to deal with. The Virginia Supreme Court has declared a state holiday on July the 3rd. So this letter was sent to us again for consideration. Of course, you know, the July 4th is a county holiday, state holiday, national holiday. So this is up for the board's consideration too.
July 10th?
Following Monday.
Is that too late to pay your bills?
No, I'm getting ready to ask, if you approve this.
Do a board meeting.
July 10th, fine.
July 10th, that was one for consideration. Y'all good for July the 10th at 6 p.m.?
Yes, sir. Very good. July 10th. Is everybody?
Yep.
All right.
At 6 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, you'll need a motion to approve that since you're moving
Yes.
a regular meeting, because you'll adjourn to reconvene on June 26th, I guess.
Yes.
June 26th.
Yeah, you'll adjourn to
Yeah,
reconvene.
we'll
but you
adjourn
need
to
a
Yeah, we're
motion,
gonna
but we need a
yes.
motion for this one.
Yes.
So I'll entertain a
Sure.
motion
I'll
for July 10th.
I'll make a motion, we move our July board meeting to July the 10th at 6 p.m.
10th at 6.
Okay, I have a motion. I need a second.
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. July 10th, here, 6 o'clock.
So that takes care of the July 23 regular board meeting on July the 10th at 6 p.m. Of course, the two items that was added onto my request, of course, is one of the big ones concerning the budget was the Cumberland Plateau Regional Waste Management Authority, our disposal and solid waste transportation contracts. They were in your packet for approval, which we continuously negotiated with the companies, and it came in to where we have put these numbers into the budget. It's within our ranges, and we do have a little bit of flexibility. Carl Ray and, of course, Tim sits on that. And, they did it, that was not an easy. We were in Buchanan County, Dickinson County, we was running all over every county trying to get these people in, but they finally kept negotiating to, as y'all can see, on the price per ton disposal, and the transportation cost, is workable. So I need approval for both the disposal and the solid waste transportation contracts.
I'll entertain that.
So moved.
Need a
Second.
second. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We're all good? I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Mr. Lester.
Madam, the last addition to the county administrator request is, of course, I was called in with VDOT this morning about 9 o'clock at 8:30. They are replacing the bridge on Roanoke Hill right now. So working with the bridge division of VDOT Lebanon Residency and the contractors, they are going to have to temporarily close the Route 687 for bridge replacement. They're closing the bridge off. What they are proposing is, as you can see on this slide here, what they're going to do, they're going to reroute, they're going to build a road that's VDOT is working with the contractor on King Construction to build a road to come out on Dank Road itself, the primary. So they're running at hyper speed on this. That's one of the very rare things I've seen VDOT do. They met this morning, they've already got the resolution in plan. They're already working with the contractor, the bridge division, the L&D, the environmentalist, to be able to not slow down this bridge project. They had an issue. The reason they had a shoring up issue up on that high span, Steve, and yes. So now they are asking for a resolution supporting a temporary closure of the Route 687 for bridge replacement. And one of the things or a couple of the things that we did discuss during the meeting, first we will have a public meeting with people in Dane, between VDOT, the contractor and the county. We'll all be there on that issue to make sure that they know there'll be the route to use. And second, it is going to be inspected by VDOT to make sure the drainage and the stabilization and it's built to state, county specs. Number 3 is if we decide to use it for trails later, which we kicked this around during the meeting, there's trails up there on the other side that can open up into Dixon County, so that may be just left there and after the contractor gets done and just utilize the road. So that's the thing.
Is this a temporary access road that they're building now?
It
Or are
is
they
a-
gonna leave it in?
It's a temporary access road that is going to be, it'll be aggregated with surface treatment. They're going to put complete drainage, but they're still terming it temporary because,
I mean, it'd be great to have a secondary access for this.
well,
road.
that's one of the things we discussed, not just for the trails, but for emergency services.
Yeah.
If that bridge ever gets closed down, we got a secondary route up into Roanoke Hill. And if, while they're doing it, the contractor, you know, we're going to try to talk to them on widening out some spots to be able to maybe park to get near the trails. So there's a lot of possibility. This is how it happened at 9 o'clock this morning when David was trying to call me. That's where I was at this morning.
Are they gonna make like some turn-off areas like,
They will widen some spots for,
but they need
yes,
that?
yes, they will have it. They will have it. You will see a future set of plans, excuse me, you will see a future set of plans with a more defined road. This is the route they are proposing right now to the Bridge Division in Bristol.
Do you need a motion on this?
Yes, he
Yes, I
does.
do. I need,
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Eaton. I have a motion for a resolution supporting temporary closure of
Second.
687. Got a second? Any further discussion? Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank
Motion
you.
carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes the county administrator reports and requests.
Thank you very much. So at this time, before I call for adjournment, board discussions, Mr. Lovelace.
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Ray.
Yes, Madam Chair. I was thinking on here where we're trying to look for some money for ATV trails. I'd also like to go back and look and see if we can have enough money to open up our trash sites on Wednesday.
Well, he sits on the disposal waste committee. There's a reason he's asking this question. And that was the promise that we made to y'all a year ago.
Yes, sir.
With the prices that came in and the inflation, the fuel cost has not went up as drastically that was predicted because we were looking at some high level. With the savings that, with the contract, it's a very, very possibility that you can open on Wednesday and do it and break even. No cost to the county. Break even is what I'm calling it. You know how I work the numbers. I think we can do it within the means. And if it is going over, because we're running estimated tons right now, you know, what I'm saying, it's not a material amount. If you want to open up on Wednesday to be able to proceed, that will affect the budget. That I can promise you. So that is up to the choice of the board of supervisors, and you can do it either now or in the final budget meeting.
We want it, as chair, I'd like to wait until then. I'm not putting it off, Carl, but so we can have a
That's
final.
up to y'all.
Yes,
And I'll,
because we don't do voting during our board things,
yes,
right?
yes, ma'am.
So, you got this, Carl, I promise. All right, Mr. Eaton.
I just want to let the board know that I do support Mark Marrow, and I think we need to try to, whatever the request has been made, I think we need to honor that because you can't put a number on the impact that made. I'll just tell you. I mean, we need to try to do that, and I know the town has gave them a considerable amount of money also here in Lebanon, and I think Town Homemakers are looking to do that, try to support them some way, but we really need to try to do that if you can, Lonzo, to give her an assurance, because they feed everybody and they do all that too, but we need to kind of give them an ideal to make sure we can get behind them and support that initiative. That way they're not burdened down thinking, where am I going to get this additional funding or money? I know a lot of churches are helping out, and I'm going to file the request from our church too to give like we did the last time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Eaton. Mr. Brady?
I think you need to check with the opioid board. That's a prevention, and I think we could use some opioid money on that.
Luann and I met at the Bakel meeting, you couldn't come because of your surgery. The opiate executive was there, and they went through some, additional rules. I'll be glad to, wonder if you'll give me the agenda, what it all entails. That way they can look at what the what they're discussing with the kids, if it's opiate related, and then maybe they can give us some even guidance, you know.
This is one of the few ways that you can get to a large number of youth in the county.
Yes.
You know, over a short period of time, so I mean, that's prevention is what it is.
Yeah, and as Steve sits on the board and Ms. Di does too, there's so many rules, gosh, my federal money. There's a lot of rules, but we'll ask them. Absolutely.
Mr. Breeding, anything else? Thank you. Ms. Di?
No, not tonight, thanks.
Mr. Christian?
I'll pass.
And I don't have anything else to say tonight, but just ready for adjournment to reconvene on May 26th. No, May 26th, not May.
June.
Oh, gosh. It is. I apologize. I have lost it. I wrote down May.
It's all right.
June
Keep
26th.
keep us young as long as
Oh,
you
my
can.
gosh. All right. We're adjourned. Thank you so much.
Keep us young as long as you
I was
can.
going to argue.